You are listening to the Horse Radio Network, part of the Equine Network family.
Greetings, everyone. Coach Jen here, and thanks for tuning in to Horse Tip Daily, episode 1516. Today's topic is part 2 of our educational barn building series. Welcome to Barn Building 101, brought to you by Morton Buildings at mortonbuildings.com.
Well, Glenn here, founder of the Horse Radio Network and host of Horses in the Morning, and we are continuing our educational series right now on building yourself a barn that you're going to be happy with from now into the future. As you know, we've done a couple of these educational series, one on insurance and one on trailers that have proved to be very popular, and you guys wanted to hear about barns. So in this part 2, we have Dennis Lee with us. He's equestrian product line manager at Morton Buildings, and in this part, we're going to discuss the style of horse stall that you want. There's so many different styles. And if you missed part 1, go to horseradionetwork.com/barn to take a listen. Well, talking about stalls, Dennis, there are so many things to think about. And of course, materials you're making out of it is one of the things, size and all that stuff's important. But also, what are the walls? What are the doors? What's everything made out of?
Yeah, so that's a huge consideration for clients to make. We want to build a safe, very functional, as well as a stylish stall. Your horse spends the majority of their time in the barn in the stall. The majority of injuries in stall barns occur in the stall. So, the quality of materials is absolutely paramount in a horse stall. The number one cause of injury in stall barns is actually a backed out fastener in your stall lumber. So, we want to make sure that we're using a heavy duty ring shank hand drive nail or a good heavy duty structural screw. Many builders will use nail guns just for speed and cost, and those nail gun nails will almost immediately start to back out, and you can have sorts of injuries from backed out fasteners. The lumber your stall is built from, we use a number 1 grade Southern Yellow Pine tongue and groove 2x8. Many builders will use either just a spruce pine fir or a lower quality softwood type of square edge plank for cost. Yellow pine is the strongest of all the softwoods, so that's the reason that we use it. And many builders will use a tongue and groove board in the stall front for aesthetics only, whereas we use a tongue and groove board throughout the entirety of the stall so that the two boards lock together to help prevent separation or splintering when a stall is kicked.
Doors is one that we've had this discussion on our show before, and that's sliding doors versus hinge doors. And it's kind of one of those discussions that people either fall one side or the other. What do you find when you're having that discussion with people?
That's a very polarizing opinion, typically.
I've had both, and I could argue for both in court. I really
exactly.
Could.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I come from the Western world. We have reiners, rein cow horses, versatility ranch horses. So the sliding style stall door seems to be much more steeped in our history. The sliding stall door is probably the most basic, the most utilitarian. It saves the most amount of space in the barn aisle. And generally speaking, it's going to be the least expensive. As far as a hinged front style stall, we typically see those in what's referred to as a European or Euro style stall front. You'll see those a lot in hunter jumpers, dressage, warm blood type horses, some of the polo type communities where you don't have the large track across the front. It's more like a scalloped front European style.
So one of the things, too, you don't want to skimp on is hardware on the sliding doors, because we've all been to that barn that they just don't work because the hardware is just terrible. Good hardware on a sliding door is a necessity if you want to use it after 3 or 4 years.
Yeah, quality is key. So we see a lot of stall fronts that are kind of, self-assembled or just cobbed together with local hardware. You want to have a stall front that really is designed to work together, not just a high quality Durlin type of roller that will last longer than a cheap galvanized roller. A good quality latching system. Our stall doors will actually latch in any position throughout the travel of the door. So if you want to open the door a foot and latch it, place your wheelbarrow in front of that opening, go in and muck your stall. The horse can't bust out past you. So that's a really well-designed latch. And then on your sliding doors, a door keeper system or a door retainer system on the bottom. So the door can't be pushed away from the stall, either in its open or closed position. So yeah, a good, well-designed hardware system on your stall front is very important.
And then the other thing with hinge doors, if you have stalls opposing each other on opposite sides, you need a wider aisle than you would
Absolutely.
with a sliding door, right?
So yeah, your stall doors really need to be 4 feet wide to give room for horse and handler to pass. So if you have a 12-foot wide barn aisle and you have a 4-foot wide door open on either side of the stall or either side of the aisle, you're greatly reducing the travel area in that barn. Also, if a lot of these hunter jumper type programs will have tack trunks in front of their stalls, so take into consideration where that door is going to swing when you have tack trunks placed in front of the stalls.
So what safety considerations should you take into account when you're planning for your stalls? I mean, we've all had, if you've had horses for any amount of time, all of us have had the cast horse, right? I don't care what how big the stall is or what it's made out of. We have to deal with that. But how can we do the best we can to avoid injury?
So a good safe footing in your stall. We love stall mats and a well-compacted base. A door that is no less than 4 feet wide. 4 feet is by far the most common in the industry. I personally prefer to place a sliding stall door on the right-hand side of the stall, sliding to the left when you walk in front of it. So, typically we're going to lead a horse in our right hand. And if your stall door slides from right to left, you can grab that door latch, slide the stall to the left, and you can enter the stall with the horse without ever having to cross paths directly in front of the horse. We know directly in front and directly behind are the no-go zones on horses. So if that stall door slides right to left, you can open, enter, and release the horse without having crossed in front of them.
So we've talked about sliding versus swinging. What are the other considerations for stall doors?
So there's several different design styles when it comes to stall doors themselves. Our basic entry-level stall door is going to be a pipe top with a tongue and groove lumber fill bottom. We also have options for operable yoke tops, so your horses can hang their heads out when you want to and close it when you don't want them to. We also offer a pipe top and pipe bottom. Now, when we go to a pipe bottom door, we do reduce the spacing of that pipe in the bottom. So if you had a mini or something, they couldn't get a hoof between the pipes and the bottom of that door. I'm personally a huge fan of the pipe bottom door because you can walk down the aisle of your barn, and in an instant, you can look into that stall. You can see if a horse is cast. You can see if the stall is clean. You can see if they've, got their blanket wrapped around their legs. You can, there's so much advantage to being able to see into the bottom of that stall. It also, promotes airflow and increases light.
What do you guys use for your posts? Are you using 6x6s, 8x8s, 4x4s? What are you using for your corner posts?
So we pioneered the laminated wood column system way back in the late 70s, early 80s. So rather than a solid sawn post, we use a column that's built in a press that's multiple layers of 2x6s or 2x8s, depending on the barn design. Typically, it's 2x6. So you'll have 3 number 1 grade 2x6s put together in a press. And this gives you a stronger, straighter column than what a solid post would. We also use what's called the Morton foundation system, which is a precast concrete lower column. So we no longer put treated wood in the ground. So we have a precast concrete pier that we embed a minimum of 4 feet in the ground, and then we bolt that laminated column to that pier once it's up above the grade.
So you're digging the hole, and then you have this pre-made concrete thing. You drop it in the hole, and then the post goes in that concrete.
That's correct.
Oh, that's interesting. That's probably much quicker for you guys to do too than doing it the other way.
It is. It's better than a solid sawn post for many reasons. If we've all seen even the highest quality 6x6s or 4x6s will have one big knot in them that compromises the whole post, or they twist. They're really bad for twisting and cupping.
So that's the basics on stalls. In the last segment we did, which you can still go back and listen to at the link I gave you earlier, we talked about the building itself, but one of the things we didn't discuss is what the exterior is made of, whether it's metal or wood or cladding or any of that. So what do you guys recommend? What do you do the most?
So our most common cladding, both roofing and siding, is a 26 gauge PVDF painted system. So, not all colored.
That's metal, right?
Yeah, metal. What a lot of people refer to as tin. Mm-hmm. Not all corrugated metal roofing and siding is created equal. There's actually vast differences in different qualities and materials. So gauge refers to the thickness of the material. And when it comes to metal thicknesses, the larger the number, the thinner the material. So a lot of builders, especially your low-cost budget builders or DIY type kits, will use a 29 gauge material.
Seen. 26 and 29 are the two I've seen.
Yeah, so 29 is about 20% thinner than the 26 that we use. And then another big difference is the paint that's used on it. We use a 70% PVDF, which is a big fancy expression for a very high quality exterior finish that resists fade and chalking for a long period of time, where a lot of your lower cost builders will have a polyester based paint, which will fade and chalk and crack and peel rapidly. And the other consideration is fasteners. So we use a stainless fastener with a color matched head. We found that a lot of the rust and failure on metal roofing and siding begins at a low quality fastener. So choosing a very high quality fastener is paramount. Now, that's our standard, and the most common, the most durable, and probably the most cost effective. We also offer, shingle roofs, which everybody's familiar with a shingle roof. As far as siding goes, we can also do, brick, stucco. We do a lot of hardy lap or hardy board and batten, or some of the, cement board type sidings. And those are all style related considerations that we'll discuss with the homeowners.
I do pity the people who have to put up the hardy board, because I have seen hardy board and I've tried to lift a 4x8 sheet of hardy board. Mm-hmm. It's made of concrete. I mean, it
is concrete.
It's really heavy.
Hardy is beautiful, but it also has a maintenance component, so it will have to be painted every 10 to 15 years. Now, if you're trying to match a home that has hardy, we love doing hardy because it just looks amazing, but just keep in mind it will have a maintenance aspect to it over time.
And it's heavy as heck.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Well, this has been great. Thanks, Dennis, for joining us again. If you're looking to build your stable or stall barn or riding arena, a Morton Building is professionally built for your functional needs and your horse's safety and budget. Save now through February on new buildings during their Building Value Days. And you can learn more at mortonbuildings.com/project/equestrian, or you can just scroll over on your podcast player and we'll have the link right there so you don't have to remember it. But Morton is the leader in buildings in this country, and I certainly know a lot of people that have Morton Buildings and absolutely love them. Thanks, Dennis, for joining us.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Well, there you have it. Horse Radio Network has thousands of engaging podcasts for horse people, and you can have them sent right to your phone. Just subscribe via your favorite podcast player. This is Coach Jen, and I will be back again soon with another tip. Until then, go ride your horse. The Horse Radio Network and the Horse Radio Network hosts are not responsible for statements made by guests on the Horse Tip Daily. Please use your own judgment when listening to the tips on this show.